I want to talk a little bit about FOMO, the fear of missing out, and how much it impacted younger Adrian's self improvement journey. I can brutally remember back in high school, I'd say like year 11, when people would start to have birthday parties more often, like sweet 16s, 18th birthdays. As a pretty socially autistic guy, that wouldn't stop me from having the desire of wanting to get invited to every single party. The harsh reality, though, I didn't. I wasn't like my other friends who would get invited to every other party every weekend. I probably got invited to a party like 20% of the time, which I'm not saying was the wrong thing or was right. It was meant to be. I didn't really talk to many people. So what did I expect to get in return? But if there was one story I'd have to tell you, which I guess caused and gave me the most pain back in high school, it was going throughout the school week, really happy, socializing with my friends, playing basketball, playing video games. But then, as soon as Friday afternoon was to roll around, saying bye to my friends at school, saying to them, "Oh, you're going to be on tonight, right? You're going to play some NBA 2K?" They would reply back to me, "Yeah, we'll talk tonight, we'll talk tonight." That made me smile just a little bit. But at the back of my mind, I knew this wasn't true because I'd overheard a part of their conversation with their other friends, saying where they're going to have praise drinks and not what time they're going to hop on. I would hear that, but I would pretend and say to myself, no, 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 they're just making stuff up. They're not going to the party. They're going to be playing video games like they told me. And we're going to be happy with our headphones on, console on, playing till 3 a.m. I would go home thinking about this, and the hours would slowly start to clock by. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I go on Snapchat. I decide to text our big friendship group and say, "When are we getting on?" It's already 7. It gets read by a couple of my friends. But then one of my friends who I'm kind of closer with, he has the audacity to reply back and say, "Soon, soon, soon." Keeps my hopes up still. I still don't get that suspicious. If anything, I'm sitting on this chair with my headphones on, spam inviting my friends to the PlayStation party, thinking they're going to join any minute. I wait another hour, and this is when I start to notice a shift in my body. I start to feel anxious. Heck, at the same time, this exact week of time, Snapchat released a new feature called Snap Maps. Pretty much allows you to see where your friend's location is if you have the setting on. Super, super creepy. And if you still use this feature, what the hell are you doing? Have some privacy. But back then it was kind of new to everyone. No one really understood much about it. I could see my friends all together at someone else's house, having what I thought they were going to have. Pre-drinks, pretty much getting ready for the birthday they're going to go to. Now, was this any of younger Adrian's business? He didn't even know the host of the party, had no social connection or relationship with her or him. If he was truly masculine, he would know and say to himself, I value my time more than anyone else's. But as a 17-year-old boy, I didn't allow that. I would be obsessed. Every minute I would check snap maps to stalk their location, because that would kind of give me dopamine and some sort of control. And I would still simultaneously be inviting them to the parties, goddamn knowing they weren't at home. Now, this takes so much authenticity for me to say this, but I can guarantee, I know you are probably guilty of this as well. You have these feelings of FOMO, and they are higher than they have ever been due to social media and the social world. How crazy is it to believe that literally over 10 years ago, just 10 years ago, this whole thing with stalking people's locations wasn't even a thought in mind? And now it's the one thing which is deteriorating your time, your progress, your focus, your productivity, your feelings of feeling good. I'm the guy right now to slap you out of it and for you to wake up and realize that the sooner you value your time more and start to care less about what other people are doing, the sooner there's going to be a change in power. And I know what you're thinking, but Adrian, they're posting all these stories at these birthdays and it makes me feel so weak about myself. I want to post stories as well. Like, I'm kind of working hard. I know I'm not getting invited to any birthdays. I'm grinding. I'm reading all the books you've told me. But no one can see. I'm not getting validation. First off, if you're doing this all for validation, you're not going to make it far. Second off, you are quite literally delaying gratification, bro. Anything that's hard, yeah, you're going to receive fuck all validation at first. But afterwards, to kind of like bump up your ego and give you a whole lot of hope, you are going to be known as the guy who pushed through triumph, who pushed through pain, difficulty, who transformed. What is a better superhero movie? The superhero who has it easy and gets all the validation from the start? Or the superhero who has to go through pain, who isn't noticed, gets no respect, gets no attention, but then at the end of the movie, he's put on a fucking podium. Or because he knew the way how he spent his time was the best move on the chessboard. And by not getting invited to these parties, although it kind of made him feel like a little bit shitty and gave him a lot more negative thoughts, it actually benefited him a whole lot more than he thought. It allowed him to read 10 more pages of that book. It allowed him to go to bed a couple hours earlier. It allowed him to maybe hit that gym session because he didn't have time to go to it during the day. Right now, you're probably still in high school, and when you comprehend the amount of progress I've made and you've made, it probably feels like a big, big, big mountain. And you're saying to yourself, Adrian, why should I climb that mountain when I can just do the path of negative thoughts and embracing FOMO and just wasting more time? You right now need to stop giving yourself an option to think the other way. Because, let's be realistic. There's two ways you can think. You can think, oh, I didn't get invited to that party, but I'm going to stalk and I'm going to waste more time. Or you can think, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I don't check my phone and social media. I don't compare myself. I know what I'm doing is the right thing. Why do I care about what anyone else is doing? Let them think about me. I'm not going to think about them. Right now, you think there's two ways of thought. When in reality, bro, at least for me, and I guess I'm trying to give you the way how I think, there is only one way of thought. And that's the right way. Because when you do something correctly, you're going to continue to do that correctly. It's the only way. There isn't two options. There is the right option and the wrong option. That means there is only one right option of thought. So why not do the right one sooner rather than later so you can make way more progress and get ahead of the pack and eventually and potentially get all the validation you're searching for? I am here to tell you today that I would waste hours on snap maps. I would do it with events like this. I would do it when talking to girls. I would do so much. Like, bro, I would go as far as like stalking snap scores. It's like a number that goes up when you've been communicating with someone. And I would see that number go up and I would stress and be like, that wasn't me. They're talking to someone else. What? Again, you're probably guilty of that as well. Because I know, if you're watching this video right now, you relate to younger Adrian quite a lot. Which means you probably make the same mistakes as him. Part of me wishes I made this video sooner. I literally woke up this morning, brushed my teeth, and thought, what's one thing I could talk about which pissed me off the most? And this came to my mind instantly. Because FOMO was one of my greatest battles. Whereas now, in today's present moment, I don't think twice. I know everything I'm doing is the right and correct way to spend my time. And if someone else is in a holiday in like Europe, Mykonos, do I care? No. Do I care about these other Instagram stories? Not really. Because I also know I'm on such a higher level of self-improvement compared to the average person. And the people that do put out these stories, framing themselves as if they're happy, they're actually not happy. Because they can post a story and hoping that one person sees it. But then if that person doesn't see it, their thirst trap or this location, this aesthetic picture, doesn't even give them the validation they wanted. Whereas the validation they truly want should all come from themselves. People would go as far as going overseas to get a photo. Not to be present, not to be grateful, not to enjoy the moment, just to prove something. Insecurity! Right now, if you're so tempted to go on this Euro trip, this Euro summer, just for other people's attention, you are an absolute moron. You know there is work to be done. You know there are books to be read. You know there are workouts to be crushed. Your family is still working and you have the audacity to go on a Euro trip, to post stories. You fool! That can wait. That can wait. The beaches aren't going anywhere. The club for sure ain't going anywhere. But your self-improvement progress is going somewhere. Your value day after day, week after week, month after month is in a slow, steady upwards trajectory. When I first heard that was all the validation I needed for me to say to myself that, okay, I'm not invited to this party, but I know my value is only going up, so in the future I'm going to be invited to better parties, better events, and be friends with better people. Like, you're upset that you didn't get invited to these parties. And then if I was to ask you, do you even like those people? Do those people treat you well? Do they respect your progress? Do they respect you as a person? Or do they use and abuse you? Because I know, maybe on the rare occurrence when you do get +1 to this birthday, or you do get invited to one, you go and you realize this wasn't even as good as I thought it'd be. Why am I here when I could be in bed early, sleeping? Why am I here when I could be reading? Why did I get these negative thoughts? This isn't even fun. Ew, he's doing drugs, she's drinking. Why am I here? I don't relate to these people. These people are quite literally degenerates. They avoid pain and chase comfort. I literally don't relate to them. Why am I friends with them? Why am I socializing with them? Why am I going on dates with these girls? As cruel as this sounds, you can probably relate. Because you know when you spend time with the wrong people instead of the right people, you feel unproductive. You know when you spend time with people who are disciplined, people who are on self-improvement, people who are on the right path, you only want to be more and more and more on the right path. You didn't need to watch a 20-minute YouTube video to figure this out, because you knew this was true at the back of your mind. You just needed some guy to help slap you out of it. And that guy is me. Because I've went through nearly every mistake that I can guarantee you have went through or that you're about to go through. High school is meant to be a social fun period of your life. But for me, it was a period full of FOMO, anxiety, and depression. I was constantly searching for validation. I would look everywhere for it. Hours stalking, hours trying to create a perfect photo dump. I was looking everywhere for a cure on how to defeat FOMO. But this whole time, I would even go on dating apps, get attention off girls. But this whole time, the validation I was searching for was inside of me. It was right here all along. Because I control the thoughts I get, which then leads to the actions I take, which then leads to the behaviors I make regularly. Actions, thoughts, thoughts, actions, behaviors. I had the thought of recording a YouTube video a year ago. I took action on it, did it regularly. It became a behavior which gave me validation because it felt like I was starting to become a whole lot more heard with what I had to share. How do you think that combated? Sorry, I'm a bit sick. How do you think that combated FOMO when I created a new habit for myself? A habit which seemed a little bit daunting at first, but over time, I started to enjoy it more and more and more. And heck, this work, obviously it's all recorded. So everything I once said, it's there forever. So like, if people want to know more about me, bro, you can look. I've been authentic in every video I've recorded. I swear to God, YouTube is probably the biggest, like, punch in the face against FOMO. It is one of the most validating business models there is because it is a platform for you to share. I guess an actionable step for you right now is to get a journal. And I want you to get like autistically specific with what you're about to write. Specifically on a Friday night or on a weekend, because I know that's when these emotions peak. I want you to write down why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Why are you getting FOMO? Is it because you're feeling rejection? That you're not part of the tribe? That's most likely what you're feeling because that's what I was feeling. You'd feel rejected when you not get invited to a party. Okay, cool. Now, how can you fix that? I'm not getting invited to this tribe, this group, this social circle. They're just not letting me in. I can try anything. I can be a good boy. I can be super nice. I can even give them gifts, but they're still rejecting me. What can I do to improve my social life? Why don't I become my own tribe leader? That gives me a bit of the power. Guys are lonelier than they've ever been. Why aren't I a leader? Why haven't I started a movement to find like-minded men, to be on the same path of self-improvement as me? I know you're probably hearing this for the first time and you're thinking, that's impossible. That's impossible. No, it's not. You're literally a leader in the video games you play because you're the best at them. But in real life, you're anything but that. You've done it in the virtual world, you can do it in the real world. Because once you're in charge, once you feel a bit more masculine and like a strong man, a man that leads. Again, FOMO doesn't exist, bro, because you're in charge. You make the plans, you make the decisions. You need to start setting this habit of being a leader more in your daily routine. And how can you do that? You be more accountable with your time. More structured, more organized. Write down what your perfect day looks like and actually follow it to an absolute T. That develops leadership. Making your bed develops leadership. Brushing your teeth develops leadership. Every action that you can't really be fucked doing, but you do it anyway, develops discipline, leadership, work ethic. And it will all compound and apply to every single other area of your life. Your business, your physical health, your social life, your relationships. I'm going to leave you with the last bit of like brutal advice. And if you've stayed this long in the video, I do give you credit, because I know most people don't have the discipline they don't have the attention span to watch a video longer than 5 minutes, let alone 60 seconds. But I'll leave you with this. You didn't get invited to that party for a reason. That reason being, you're not as high value as you think you are. That's the harsh truth that you've been avoiding and neglecting for your whole high school life. Don't say, oh no, Adrian, it's just because I'm not close with the host of the party. That's why. That's cope. Because that other jacked guy, he's not even close with the host, but he got invited. Just because he's higher value than you. And I know it's not all about power dynamics, not all about status. Bro, we're humans, and a lot of us only think about, we all think about the social hierarchy. It's how we used to think when we were cavemen. It's our psychology. So stop coping and saying to yourself, no, I just didn't get invited because I wasn't close to the host. So I'm just going to play more video games now and not work on myself to get invited to future parties. That is the most soft pussy mindset ever. And I'm here right now on this Monday to slap you out of it. Take control of your life. Become as high status. Become as powerful. Become as attractive. Become as jacked. Become as of everything. But don't say you didn't get invited to this party because of this, but then continue to feel like shit. When you just gave yourself a poor fucking reason, but you're going to continue to feel like shit. That is pathetic. You're meant to be the superior man. You're meant to be a man who commands and demands respect. Become high value. so that when maybe you don't get invited to a party, that was because the host knew you were invited to another. Defeat FOMO so you will never fear of missing out on anything. Be the man. I hope this video motivated or educated you. I am currently doing one-on-one coaching mentorship. It will be the first link in the description. Also, I do have a free private Discord community group. Us and all of the boys are constantly providing as much value as we can in there about relationships, looks maxing, gym, knowledge, self-improvement, all of that good stuff. That will be the second link in the description. Thank you for watching. Click the subscribe button and also click the like button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.